Welcome, everyone. We are here for the episode number 4 of this series of interviews to the top 25 European players who qualified for Worlds Anaheim 2025. And with me today, I have Paulasha. So, welcome to the show.
Welcome.
So, um, first questions, always very easy. Your name, your age, what you do for a living, and how did you get close to Pokemon Go?
Okay, so I'm Paula. I'm from Barcelona. I'm 28, and right now I'm studying. I'm studying something related with enterprise administration. So yeah, I'm not working at this moment, but I'm trying. So yeah, and basically I started in Pokemon Go when it was released in 2016,
Yes.
if I remember correctly. But yeah, at the start the game was a bit boring. So yeah, I returned to play in late 2018, I think 2017, and yeah, but I wasn't really convinced about the PvP because I thought that it was like you have to tap, and the faster who taps is gonna win. So yep, I had a fellow player in my community that started to play some Silph tournaments, and yep, I always love Pokemon. So he was asking me about the team. What do you think about this team? So yep. Later he convinced me to go to some local tournaments, and here we are, basically.
Okay. So thanks to your friend.
Yep, yep.
Now you are one of the best ones. That's great. So okay, I wanted to just start talking about your season recap. So I have your results in front of me. Um, so you started very strong with a third place in Lille,
Yep.
and then you kept going consistently well using the Travel Award for the LAIC,
Yep.
and then again top 8 in Birmingham, and then USC. We don't talk about the USC.
No, please.
Uh, yeah, and then you kept being consistently well placed in Sevilla, Utrecht, and yeah, Bologna. But was it Maitiena's fault,
Nah,
or was
not
it just
really.
because?
I mean, if you saw my team, basically I had Azu, Blastoise, Clodsire, Talonflame, and Tinkaton that all were weak into Jellicent, and I faced 4 Jellicent in 6 rounds.
Ah,
So
fantastic.
yep, basically, when I saw the first Jellicent, I was like, okay, I think I can play around that because my opponent wasn't strong enough against my Tiena. So yep, I was able to play around that. But after that, I faced 2 times Luke. I don't know how is pronounced his nickname, Noitan Matsal.
Oh yes, yeah.
That Yep, and his team basically he had like Jellies and Corviknight crazily that the core was annoying, but with Drapion. And yeah, my Tina was 5 times in a row aligned against the Drapion.
Ah, fantastic.
So yeah, yep. So
Yeah,
it wasn't my Tina's fault. I think my Tina was really solid.
yeah. I actually wanted to use my Tiana. I just didn't believe in it strong enough, but I spent probably 3 or 4 days studying all the matchups of my Tiana,
Mm-hmm.
both the shadow version and the regular version, and it can do a lot of nice things in the two
Yep,
shields,
yep.
and just coming out of several matchups with enough energy to threaten what comes next with a crunch, maybe just keeping one poison fang store and then switching out. And yeah, so being able to resist Sidewave, of course,
Mm-hmm.
was very, very important. And also, the matchup against Tinkaton wasn't that terrible because if you say swap my Tina, you can just poison Fang, and
Yep.
if they spend too much time trying to overfarm, you reach a crunch. And I think the crunch after the poison Fang and all the sucker punches almost
Mm-hmm.
basically KO, especially if you're a Shadow one.
Yep. Yep.
So yeah, that
And
was a very interesting pick.
against Jamplaf, for example, because it's the only technically it's the only faded fast move user in the meta apart from Tinkaton. It doesn't
Interesting.
have a bad matchup. So yeah, because in the previous meta, Annihilate wasn't common. So yep, I mean, I think it was really solid against Drapion. It was able to win once, for example. So yep. After Utrecht, when I reached the top eight, I was technically not very convinced, but I was like, okay, I don't want to think overthink about that because yep, I'm not. I think I'm not understanding the meta. So yeah, for Utrecht, I copied Nighttime Clasher team. So I was like, okay, I want to play something spicy because yep, I technically I don't care about the result because the only result that allows me to reach the trouble level like 100% is a top eight. So I'm gonna try to play something meta that can break a lot of teams. And I thought about my Tiena, and yep, I reached wrong one in GBL with my Tiena. So that's pretty crazy because I started to play like okay, I'm gonna try to study the matches and yep. But yep, it wasn't the best tournament for my Tiena.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, that's unfortunate because all those jellies and especially I guess Noita and Matsal that had credibly, so you couldn't even use Azu
Yep.
as a sponge against Jellicent because it was just hard countered. I mean, yeah, not that hard, but yeah. But you actually still ended up number 8 in the leaderboard. So yeah, so you got your travel award.
Yep. Luckily. Because
That's
in other position I wasn't going to worlds. So yep. Luckily I reached the top eight. I'm and PvP David is like 10 points behind me. So yep, it was pretty close. Luckily for me, I mean, um, Philbeck beated him in
yeah.
Bologna. So yep, thank you, Philbeck. Thank you
Yeah.
so much.
So thanks to the Italian friends,
Yep,
Italian friend. Yeah, well, that's very solid season overall across the board, except for yeah one mistake maybe in URC, but yeah, we can keep not talking about that if you don't want to.
I
Let's
mean,
focus on the
I
other
don't care.
results.
And after Birmingham, thought, and I'm still thinking that I didn't understand the meta. I didn't understand how will the meta evolve and how is it going. And yep, in UIC I played a team that I wasn't comfortable, and with Zapdos that I think Zapdos was a really good point, but yep, the main fault was that I didn't believe enough in Zapdos because I thought that my opponents were bringing like the most strong teams against Zapdos, and sometimes it wasn't. So I lost in winners when my opponent played in game one Azulid with Gator in the back, and in game two he
Fantastic.
played Annihilate, Azu, and Gator.
Very
So
nice. Yeah, sometimes that people keep disrespecting your glass cannon because they think, okay, it's glassy, I can handle it,
yep,
but then it's more
but
of a
yep.
hardcore than other, and yeah, that's
Basically,
unfortunate.
I had to do the same that I did last season with Magnezone. Like, I don't care. I'm gonna bring Magnezone, and who cares? I
Yeah,
don't gonna
yeah,
think about that.
and Magnuson was in a. I mean, there were way more counters for Magnuson back then than
Yep,
for
yep,
Zapdos now. Yeah, so yeah, maybe you should have believed in yourself in your
yeah. Probably,
instinct.
probably.
Uh, Incidentally, Marcos Shani told me the other day that Zapdos was the MVP for him.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah,
Yep,
he really liked the Zapdos, and yeah. So and we talked about the regular one. He told me that it was because of you suggested the regular one rather than the shadow one, just to
yep,
be able to endure the fast moves better, since you still need 2 moves to kill Azu, which is a valid point, I guess.
mm-hmm.
And also, I guess potentially you don't die to Aqua Tails from Drapion, at least,
Yep.
because yeah, all the Glacier Pokemon against Drapion are really bad.
Yep.
And what's the team that you actually the proudest of?
I have to think about that because I don't feel that I played something um like 100% built for me because yep, I build a lot of teams, but yep, I don't feel that I have a team like, okay, this is my team. So probably the Mighty won in Bologna because it was the most spicy one.
Okay.
Because yeah, normally I want to play something like five meta picks and one spicy.
Yeah.
But if this season, I wasn't comfortable with the meta, so I didn't want to risk about that. So yeah, probably Bologna.
And and the team that maybe just worked the best for you, that was the most synergistic in all its dynamics, the one that you could master the best.
Mm, Probably Lille. I mean, my Lille's team was pretty solid. It was cool because I was playing the same team as Colin. So yep, and we finished second and third. So yeah, probably it was the most solid team that I played this season because it was pretty flexible. Because normally I'm always trying to play as flexible as I can. So yeah, probably this one.
Yeah, and I guess yeah, Aridos in that moment of the meta was actually very very strong.
Yep.
Lots
Yep.
of players were counting on Aridos, but then it just slipped out of the meta
Mm-hmm.
after LAIC. I think in Birmingham almost no one had Aridos except for very few people.
Yep.
And
Because in Birmingham, Corsola was a thing.
yeah,
So yep, and Corsola just destroys Ariados.
yeah, exactly. Yeah. And okay, so talking about a little bit more the strategy side, uh, the the hardest match that you had this season, the one that after it you just I don't know. I'm gonna take a shower because this match completely drained me. I'm exhausted. Was there
Mm,
any?
Probably after in LAIC, I lost in winners against Steinar and in loser against Dumbuk. And against Dumbuk, I was like, okay, I don't know how to face this matchup because he had, I don't remember exactly, but he played like Serperior, like Pangoro, like,
Oh, he had
uh,
Drift Blame, right?
yep, yep.
Oh,
And I was like, "Oh, I don't know how to play this." And yeah, basically, he doubled RPS me in game two. His Pangoro boost in the first Night Slash. So I was like, okay, I
okay.
cannot do
Just take the
anything.
win. Yeah,
Yep,
take the
yep.
win. Okay,
And yep,
and
I was a little bit sad because yep, a top 12 in an international is always cool, but yep, I was one win behind from the top 8. So yep,
yeah, it's always that bittersweet feeling where you know you went great, but
yep,
yeah, you always see what you didn't get to. So yeah, even if you went like runner up, second place, you still have that that yeah that bittersweet feeling because
yep,
I should have just won that. So yeah, we are never satisfied of our performances. And is there a player you actually would love to face at Worlds, maybe to get your revenge over this season, and maybe you didn't win against them, never
I,
ever, and
I
you
mean,
want to get some revenge?
my nemesis, like 100%, is Icelandic Lapras because I've lost 3 times against him. So maybe if I can face him and win, I will be very happy. I also lost 2 times against Dumbuk, for example,
Yep.
and yep. I mean, I love to play against Pato because if I play Pato, probably means that I will be in an advanced round. So so yep. But yep, basically
Yeah, and after Bologna, also Noitan Matsal
yep,
has
yep.
beaten you twice. Yeah,
But he's not going to Worlds, I think. So
no, I don't believe it's going. Um, yeah, and okay, so now we are talking about a player you would love to face and a player you wouldn't love to face instead.
probably, I mean, I want to face Pato, but in other part, if I face Pato, probably it's if he's not the strongest player right now in the world, probably it's like the top 3. So yep, I don't want to face. I mean, I don't want to face in general people that I consider my friends because
Yeah,
yep, you are if you win, you are gonna be sad because of your friend lost, and if you lose, you are gonna be sad because you lose. So
Yeah,
yeah, yeah, I don't want to face like a mind joke. I don't want to face Pat. I don't want to face San Judigo. I don't want to face a lot of people. Mato.
yeah.
So
So maybe the solution is try not to be friends with anyone,
yep,
so that you
yep,
don't feel
probably.
bad. Yeah, so that you don't feel bad. Um, okay, and how do you prepare for some opponents? Uh, for example, I don't know. Going into day two, you already know your matchups for the day after. Yeah. So in night times, do you scream? Do you think? Do you simulate? Do you try to adapt to his or her tendencies or play styles, or you just wake up the morning after and say, okay, let's have a look at the team?
I'm gonna be honest. I'm never screaming. I'm never analyzing my matches. So I'm like, okay, I'm gonna think about the match like 30 minutes before the matchup, and let's see how this works. And basically, I'm trying to do this. If my opponent played on stream, I'm trying to see what is my opponent playing, with the, which is and where, which is my opponent's team comps. So yeah, but normally I'm not screaming. I hate screaming because I feel that if I lose, I'm gonna be nervous. I'm gonna be with a lot of pressure. So, and if I win, I'm gonna be like omega relaxed, and I don't want to be
Yeah,
relaxed. So,
yeah,
yep.
yeah,
Normally, I'm
exactly.
never screaming. I'm never doing a lot of things. So, maybe I'm asking like a couple of people about my matchup. What do you think about this? But yep,
Yeah, yeah, that makes sense. Also, maybe try and be aware of whether your matches actually went on stream during the
yep,
day, so that, yeah, because if your opponent will know something about you, you have to know this.
yep.
Yeah. So an example, in Birmingham, going into the day two, I didn't realize that my opponent, my first opponent in the morning would have had access to some streamed matches against Kazim and Dane that
Hmm.
I had during day one. During those days, I basically never used Talonflame. I also said in the interview that Talonflame is mainly for bench pressure. So yeah, he used Jump Love all three games, and I
Yep.
didn't have Talonflame. Yeah, so that's my fault. I should have brought Talonflame
For
just
that
to,
reason, in interviews, I'm always like talking like omega general. I don't want to talk a
yeah.
lot about my team, so I'm always avoiding the questions. So
Yeah,
yeah,
yeah. Well, that we can say that it was maybe just mistakes of someone going into the interview for the first time this season, and yeah, so I've learned to be more vague
yeah.
during the answers. Yeah, all experience for the next time. Um, yeah, so I'm interested to know, how do you approach the round when you are already one game down, and so do you? Okay, so for example, Galacto Bolton said that he sees the whole round, the whole three game is a single game.
Hmm.
So is it something that you think as well?
I don't know. I don't know. I mean, I'm always thinking that I play better in losers than in winners. And normally, if I lose a game, I'm losing always the first one. I don't know why, but yeah, I don't know how I'm thinking about that. But yeah, normally I'm always try to focus about the game. I'm always taking notes about my opponent's team comps, so to see if my opponent had disrespected something or whatever. So yeah, basically, if I lose the first game or if I lose in the first round, for example, in the last Worlds, I played in the very first round and I still reached day two. So yep, it was pretty cool. But yep, I'm always thinking that I play better in losers with the pressure. So yep, I don't know.
Okay, well, yeah, that's an original statement.
Yep.
I I hate being in losers early on in a tournament. It just means that you have to climb an infinite
For
tower.
example, for example,
Yeah,
in Stockholm last year, the tournament that I won, I lost in winner semis in groups. So I played like 7 or 8 rounds in a row in losers, and yep, I still won. So so yeah,
Yeah, but at least you won the first 2 or 3, maybe 2 games in winner. Uh,
yep,
at least you won them. Yeah. I mean, the worst case scenario just losing immediately in round 2, and then
hmm,
having just to do the whole jungle. That
yep,
yeah, I don't wish this to anyone, not even to my worst enemy. It's very energy draining and exhausting. Um, yeah. Any. Okay. So I have some more strategy or mindset question to ask you. Um, how how much time do you spend building your team when you are to prepare for a regional
oof,
for
a
for
lot,
regional?
a lot,
Yeah.
and like
Especially because
every
you told me that you don't scream, so
yep,
so most of your effort is actually team building.
yep. Basically, normally I'm like switching my team every single 2 days or something like this.
Yeah,
So I
same.
build a team and I'm like, okay, I'm not really convinced about that. I'm gonna switch a Pokemon, but if I switch a Pokemon, I have to rethink about the team because it's not balanced at all. So yep. For example, for Utrecht, I was like team building a lot of teams. I played a couple of inadequate practice tournaments, and I wasn't feeling comfortable with that because I was feeling that I was losing a lot of rounds for RPS. So I was like, the Thursday night, I think, I was like, okay, I'm gonna switch the team. I'm gonna ask Nighttime Clasher about the team and to say me some tips about the team. And yeah, basically, I copied it and it worked perfectly because I needed the top 8 for the Trollwood. So yeah, probably it was
Yeah,
the best decision that I was able to take.
yeah. Well, that team was basically, yeah, the most used team
Yep.
in Utrecht, but also, I mean, it is very solid.
Yep.
We can't really deny
A-
that.
And
Very solid, and
I lost against 2 Typlosion, so that Typlosion probably was the worst Pokemon that you can face with that team.
yeah, that's the main problem because yeah, the best counters with evolution is basically Lapras that takes super effective.
Yeah.
Yeah. So okay, but yeah, definitely a very solid team. Um, so and what's your general feeling about doing these practice tournaments? Because on one hand, is really helpful. On the other hand, aren't you afraid that people will just pick some information from your teams, and
Yep.
if you have some code breakers, you just you just revealed
Yep. I wanted to
your secret
play a lot
weapon.
of rounds of practice tournaments with the Bologna's team, but I played the first tournament. I did like a 4-1 and I forfeit because I was like, okay, I don't want to play more because I don't want that my opponents know that I'm playing my Tiena to get ready for it.
Yeah,
So yeah, basically I didn't play it a lot of tournaments before Bologna for that reason. Maybe it was a wrong choice because yep, when I faced a Drapion, I was pretty scared because I didn't have a really good counter for it. I mean, I had Tinkaton, but if my opponent played something like Drapion plus Corviknight, I was out completely.
yeah.
So yep.
And do you think you will take advantage of these practice tournaments during your preparation to Worlds, or will you be screaming? Sorry, maybe with your friends, maybe with someone who will not go to Worlds, just to preserve some information for yourself.
I mean, I'm probably gonna play some practice tournaments. I'm gonna team build like 4, 5 teams or something like this, and try to play with them and see which is my most comfortable team. And yeah, probably I'm gonna talk with a lot of people. I'm gonna talk with and the people from Emperors to try to team build. I'm gonna and talk with the Spaniards. So yep, I'm gonna scream a lot because yep, right now I feel that I have to scream a lot.
Mm. Yeah, I mean, if you don't, everyone else that does it,
Yep,
uh,
yep.
yeah, basically will be just one step forward.
Hmm.
And that's an occasion, yeah, and the World Championship are an occasion where you can't really afford to to make bad performances because I mean,
Hmm.
come on, it's the most important tournament of the year.
Yep.
However, on the other hand, this is probably the only tournament where if you go 0-2, actually there's nothing wrong with
It's
it.
understandable. I mean,
Yeah, there's nothing wrong because
yep.
you already being there. That's the results you wanted. Okay, so you actually will be screaming with a lot of players, even players who will attend Worlds.
Yep. Yep.
Yeah,
Because
I
I
should
mean,
do like
if
you.
you face them, you are unlucky, and that's all. I mean, you know how to play. How is your opponent playing, and your opponent knows how you are playing the team. So, but yep, I don't know how many people are is qualified for Worlds, but probably around 250 or something like this.
Yeah, I expect less than 300, but yeah, around that number more or less.
So yep, if you face them, unlucky. I mean,
Yeah,
but
I
yep,
should
if
take.
basically if you are avoiding all of these people, you don't have. I mean, you have a lot of people, but yep, I want to play with people that goes to Worlds because they are probably analyzing hardly the meta than people that isn't going
Mm,
to Worlds.
yeah, also
So
more
yep.
motivated. Yeah, also more motivated.
Yep.
They have a clear idea of where the meta's going,
Hmm.
and yeah, I believe I should do more like you and less like me. I am actually afraid of screaming right now with people going to Worlds because I'm working to. I mean, I'm working on a team full of code breakers, and half of my team is going to be very spicy. But yeah, so I don't want anyone else to know which spice peaks I'm running. But on the other hand, I mean, I probably feel I have to play with someone at some
Hmm.
point.
Yep. Yep.
And yes, the only players uh, who I trust and that won't be going to Worlds are probably three. So yeah, in order to have a wider range of people to learn from, yeah, I should probably start giving away some details of my teams, or maybe just doing for camouflage. I just build
Yep.
five absurd teams, and one of these teams is going to be my official one,
Yep.
but they won't know. Yeah. So they will not be knowing that. So yeah, also maybe this one. Uh, let's have a chat about the meta, and especially yeah after what we saw in New Orleans.
Hmm.
So what kind of trends do you feel are going to take place now? Because in the practice tournaments before NASC, we saw a huge number of Diggersby's, the Dene, Jellicent, but actually in the NAIC, we didn't see this
Hmm.
many. I mean, yes, we saw some, we saw a good number, but yeah, Dustclop 70%. What happened? I was expecting 30% of Dustclop, 60 of the Dene, 60
Hmm.
Diggersby, and then the percentages were just reversed. So, what do you think the meta is going to go after NAIC?
I'm not sure. I mean, I'm not gonna lie. I didn't like the previous meta. I think the previous meta was decently in Stockholm, and yep, after Stockholm, I was like, okay, I wanted to. I had to go there because the meta seemed pretty healthy. But after those, I was feeling that the meta was evolving into more and more RPS. So yep, in NIC, I think the meta was pretty healthy and it was pretty flexible. For example, Sizor was a really good pick. Also, Araquanid was pretty solid. Those clubs was Omega safe. So yep, I think the meta right now the meta seems pretty flexible. So I like that. But let's see because Worlds is in 2 months. The meta will evolve, and we don't know if the meta will evolve in away from flexible picks and whatever, or if it's gonna evolve into an RPS meta. So
Yeah,
let's see.
yeah.
This is
Well,
this is what I don't like about the about Worlds like too late because we don't have a practice before them. We don't have like I mean if we have goals like in in July or something like this. I think it was better for the players because the meta didn't evolve as much. So, but yeah, with 2 months until Worlds, the meta will evolve. The meta will evolve like a lot of times. So, yeah,
Yeah, so basically, just there are 2 months where we will not be seeing any other regional, right?
yep,
So yeah, so it's like you are shaking a ball with a lot of like red balls, blue balls, yellow
yep,
balls, and you have no idea of how the distribution of those colors will be. Well, yeah, and you won't have access to just the chance to open the lead from one moment, which are the regionals. So during the regionals, you can have a snapshot of how the
hmm,
meta uh, is shaped. But yeah, without regionals, anything, yeah, and anyone is probably just building something strange, and yes, I'm expecting we're gonna see a lot of surprises,
yep,
lots of Pokemon that we won't be seeing at all in the practice tournaments. But yeah, so people bringing Shadow Dragonair, people bringing Lickitung, some Pokemon that we never saw, not even in GPL in the last months or 2 months. So yeah,
I'm
I'm
gonna
not a
be
fan of
honest.
this as well.
I'm gonna be honest. I think that meta will be better without the den. I think the den is like a pick that you cannot disrespect because if you disrespect the
Yeah,
den, basically it snowballs you.
yeah.
So yeah, you have to play like Diggersby plus Cradily or Scizor or something that core breaks the den. So yeah, I think the meta will be better without the den.
Yeah, for sure. I'm not a fan of the Den either, and I personally don't like it. Not even it's a game pressure.
Mm-hmm.
I'm I, I'm not a fan of using the Den in a team of six because I don't want to play hide and seek against my opponents, running Diggersby plus an acid user plus something else
Mm-hmm.
plus a poison type. Now maybe Marowak, like Kanto Marowak, will
Mm-hmm.
will will come back, will rise again after Pato show the way. And yeah, so just hoping to have your Dedenne into Mandibas or into Raquanid is not enough.
Yep.
It's not enough. So, but on the other side, it's a Pokemon that if you don't have it in your team, your opponent is going to have Mandibas and Lapras together, lead them back. I mean,
Mm-hmm.
it's okay if you can expect this and if you are prepared for them. But yeah, those are two very bulky Pokemon that if you don't have a direct answer to, it is going to be very hard to beat. So yeah, I don't know. I also didn't like the Dene and the introduction of the Dene in this meta.
Yep.
Uh, so yeah, let's see. I'm really expecting some nice code breakers to see the light in Worlds. And so speaking about NIC more in detail. Okay, so Itzaxen was the winner of the event, but um, this is this is the winning player. What about the winning Pokemon? Uh, so who among the Pokemon actually won the event for you?
Araquanid. I mean, there is no way that the the event was won by and something different about apart from Araquanid. I mean, he was playing Araquanid like Omega crazy because I was like, why is he throwing Bubble Beam when if he throws Water Bulbas, he had everything under control. I mean, Prime Accent is probably the best player in the world. So yeah, basically, Arakanid was omega good, and I think Arakanid is gonna rise a lot of usage for because of accent. So let's see, because if Arakanid rises, means that the den is gonna be more strong. So yeah, I don't like this point, but yeah, let's see. I mean, I'm not a believer of this meta, and I think it's interesting, but yeah, seems like it's gonna evolve into something RPS or something not flexible, at least.
Yeah, I think also the second best winner was probably Drapion.
Hmm.
and but that's because it was just a series of favorable conditions for Drapion, because almost no one had a real hard check for it. Yeah, and Diggersby is not a real check because you can just hold the timer and just get out again,
Mhm.
and and still dealing a lot of damage with Aquatail. And I think people will do like a lot of ABAs with Drapion in the lead and then in the back, and with Araquanid in the middle.
Mhm.
And I think actually that makes a lot of sense to me.
Yep.
So being able to have something that beats both Drapion and Araquanid is going to be needed. Is going to be needed.
Yep.
But I don't know if it actually exists, because you might think of Mandibas, but actually Araquanid wins against Mandibas.
Yep.
Even if it's an air slash Mandibas, Araquanid wins. So uh, that's you would never think that, but that it's pretty wicked. So yeah, we will see some nice code breakers that we have never seen so far, and which is also the exciting part of
Mhm.
going into a new meta. But yeah, I really like the Stockholm meta more.
Yep.
I think it was because it was everything new with no real king of the meta, with no real centralizing pick. So you could build around Swallowed, you could build around Credily, you could build around Azumarill again,
Mhm.
or Gazlord, and you still could be successful with no real fear for any particular pick that if you disrespected, it could just kill your entire team. But now
Mhm.
we have already this relationship.
Yep.
So similarly to how it was probably with the first Corsola meta, when you were forced to have a very hard world for it, which was Diggersby, of course, again. So,
Yep.
so using Diggersby to hard wall the most centralizing pick of the meta. So yeah, we are back again in this kind of situations. But yeah, let's see. A lot of weeks have to pass yet. Lots of practice, a lot of team building.
Yep. Because, for
Mm,
example, I think a pick that can core break, core break, Drapion plus Araquanid is Clodside, but Clodside isn't hard enough against Drapion.
yeah,
Obviously, you are running Stone Edge, but yep, if everyone is gonna play Diggersby, Clodside is completely useless against Diggersby. So yep, I think the meta will evolve into something like that. Like, okay, I'm gonna disrespect this pick because it's not gonna be common, or something like this. But yep,
yeah. Probably
let's
you can
see. I
have to,
mean,
especially yeah. You can have to because now there are tons of Pokemon that are potentially meta
yep,
relevant,
yep.
and yeah, you can't cover them all with 6 Pokemon. Of course, you really cannot. And okay, so after talking about the winning Pokemon and just the main winners of this first snapshot of the meta. Any Pokemon that instead were very disappointing? What do you think?
Probably Golisopod. I was thinking that Golisopod was meta relevant, but yeah, I'm still thinking that Shadow Claw Golisopod was a better choice than Fury Cutter, because Fury Cutter was mega underwhelming against Dust Clubs, for example,
Yeah, that's all.
and you don't really need the fast move pressure with in Fury Cutter, and probably Shadow Claw was better in coverage or something like this, because you're also hitting neutral against the den, so you can swap into goalie support to try to absorb the den. You are and you are out spamming the den, so yep, I think it's playable. But yeah, probably goalie support.
Hmm. Yeah, I have to say, yeah, probably just Shadow Club would have been just really way better against NAS clubs, but
Yep,
it was so disappointing against NAS clubs now with Fury Cuts, and
yep.
also yeah, having access to Shadow Club might give you some farm down potential in certain situations against the Dynamic. Yes, and instead you get to the moves with the same pacing. It's
Mm-hmm.
still 4 energy or 8 energy for double the turn. Yeah, and you still have to throw to Aqua Jet to Diggersby
Yep.
anyway. So yeah, probably kind of makes sense. We'll see. We'll see if people will start using Shadow Global support again. What do you think of Samurott? Because we didn't see any, and maybe it kind of makes sense. It is a kind of spicy or risky pick that maybe people didn't really want to try now. They want to have maybe more time to test it out. But yeah, so do you think it might have a place
I
in
don't.
this meta?
I don't think so. I mean, Samurott seems like a goalie support, more squishy. So yeah, you are not the most um and the most bulky Pokemon. So yep, I don't think that it will be meta. I tried it in GBL, for example, and yep, you don't have the book type for things like an Islip, for example. An Islip just destroys you.
Yeah,
And yep, so yep, you. I think if Samurott had another typing apart from water, it could be meta relevant. But yep, not at this point because
yeah,
Megahorn is a very good touch move. But yeah, what and pure water when you are glassy. I mean, a Gator was Omega good because it had like the perfect coverage with Hydro Cannon and Ice Beam. But it had Shadow Claw. That Shadow Claw was really good. And
yeah,
yep, offensively, the book type is a bit underwhelming because yep, it's not hitting a lot of things super effective, especially when Malamar is completely out from the meta.
yeah,
So yep,
yeah. So the Fury Cutter coverage is a bit wasted in a
yep,
non-Malama meta. Yeah,
hmm
so you wish Malama was still around just to fully benefit
yep.
from.
I think Malamar is. I think Malamar was pretty healthy for the meta. So
Yeah,
maybe it it's not a common thing about the meta, but yep, I think a meta with Malamar, with Rapion, with a lot of neutral things is positive for the meta.
yeah, definitely. I did enjoy the previous meta rotation a lot. I'm not really asking you to reveal your secrets, but uh, a Pokemon you wish you were brave enough to bring for Worlds, but you won't bring because it's too risky. But it can. Okay, yeah,
Yep. I mean, I wanted to play Magneton this season, but yep. In all of this season, especially with the Mud Slap buff, and yep, and ground was everywhere. So yep, you cannot bring Magnezone as safe as it was.
yeah,
So yep, I really want to play Magnezone because it's really solid against Araquanid. It's really solid against Acid Cradily. So, but yep, probably I'm not brave enough.
yeah. And you double resist the bullet punches from Shadow Scissors, so maybe
Yep.
this might open up you some chance for very aggressive volt switch down.
Mm-hmm.
If you're running it with volt switch, of course, you can also run it with the
Metal
new
Sound.
steel. Yeah, with the new steel move. I don't know if it's actually an improvement or just a slight downgrade, but it has Magneton become your favorite Pokemon after last year?
I mean, my favorite PvP Pokemon for sure because yep, I was playing Magnezone when no one expected it. I I basically in the last UIC I was thinking about a different team. I mean, I was playing the same team, but with Lantern instead of Magnezone.
Yeah,
Matine told me like 2 days before UIC, why aren't you playing Magnezone when you are playing it in GBL and it's working perfectly? And I like, okay, I'm not really convinced about the team, so I'm gonna bring it and let's see what happens. When I told some people that I was playing Magnezone, they weren't believe me. So yep, but yep, it was the after that it was like perfect. So
okay. And what about the non-PvP Pokemon? What's your favorite one?
God of War. So
Okay.
I also love Furret. I have a lot of Furret plushes. For
Yeah,
example,
yeah, yeah,
in my phone I have a Furret, and I also had a Spheal. So yep, basically cute Pokemons.
yeah. And was the love for God of War coming from any Pokemon game that you had played in the past, like on Switch or on
Yep,
the
it's a long
portable console?
it's a long story, an old story. Basically, I'm playing Pokemon since I had 2 years or something like this. So I played every single Pokemon game,
Oh,
And
finally, someone who started with Pokemon Red and Blue.
yep, I started with Pokemon Red. And in Game Boy Advance, I was playing the Pokemon Mystery Dungeon, Red Rescue. I don't remember the name in English.
Yeah, Red Rescue Team, and yeah,
Yep, and the Blue Rescue Team. It was in DS. So Gardevoir had an important part in this story. So basically, Gardevoir is my favorite Pokemon for for this game.
yeah. That's also a very underrated game.
Yep,
I do
agree.
have both the Game Boy Advanced one and the DS one,
Hmm.
and I really loved both stories. And
Yep,
I used to sometimes restart the game because I wanted to get assigned to a different Pokemon. So I would
yep.
change. So yeah, I would change the answers to the interview, so they would assign to a different one.
Hmm.
Yeah, that's some good memories. I really love those two games. However, I never managed to get friendships with all the legendaries. That was a too hard of a task. Yeah.
Yeah, I did it. I did it. I mean, I played a lot of times this game, and yeah, basically, I didn't complete it in 100% because I didn't. I right now I'm doubting if Hirachi is from this game or from the next one. But yeah, I know that I didn't. I never catched Hirachi, but I don't remember if it was from this game or from the other one. So yeah.
Okay, so you're telling me that you also got Mewtwo in the first game.
Yeah, bro. I mean, I don't remember, but probably. I mean,
Okay, yeah,
I
that
tried
must
hard
have
a lot.
been.
I played in the Switch game when it was released. I was so mega excited because it's one of my favorite games ever. So yep, I played a lot of times this game. I played a lot of times in DS. I played a lot of times in Game Boy Advance. So yep, I was pretty excited, and yep, I tried hard at it a lot.
Well, I'm very happy that you managed to get Mewtwo, because I never made it, and it was like so
Probably
hard
probably
to
the
get
only
through
Pokemon
all
that
100 floors of the
yep,
dungeon. There was.
yep, the only Pokemon that I never reclaimed was Kecleon, because if you remember Kecleon, you have to do a random thing with a 91 level or more Pokemon with an item, and I don't remember which one. And yep, it's like 0.1%. And yep, Kecleon is omega broken in those games. I don't know why, but yep,
Yeah, if you try and steal something from the market,
yep,
yeah, it just annihilates.
yep.
Yeah, well, very very cool game. Um, so if you were a gym leader, would you be a Magneton type gym leader or a Gardevoir type gym leader?
God of War for sure. I mean,
Okay,
I love
so Fairy or Psychic?
Magnezone. Yep, Fairy or Psychic. Yep. I mean, those are my two favorite types. So yeah,
Okay.
probably I will bring something like God of War. I love Sylveon, for example, from Fairy types. And from Psychic types, I love Frauniclus, for example. So yep, probably
Yeah,
around
that's a
that.
shame that Bruniclus doesn't really have
Yep,
uh like some even some decent fast move. Like, can you imagine a Sidewave Bruniclus, how much damage it can deal?
yep.
That it would be insane.
It's
Or
like
the Shadow
Rampig.
Bruniclus.
I love Rampig, but yep, it wasn't relevant enough for the meta
Yeah,
because yep, Malamar destroys you. Also, Drapion is not a good matchup. So, yep,
yeah, and the non-stop dynamic punch doesn't
yep,
doesn't deal enough damage unless you are running the shadow Grumpig, which might be a thing, but unfortunately, just psychic type per se is not a good defensive typing.
hmm
So yeah, that's unfortunate. Maybe some really
but
cheap bait move from, yeah, for Grumping can help me out, but yeah,
I'm waiting for the
we
day
will
that
see.
I can play God of War because I'm sorry, but I cannot play Charm. I mean, it's in my loss or something, but I cannot play Charm. So I cannot play God of War because it has confusion, but confusion is a bit meh. And I think God of War has like Charge Beam. That Charge Beam is a horrible fast move, and it also has Magical Leaf.
Yeah,
But
emotionally.
Magical
Yeah,
Leaf without stab, it's not good enough. So yeah. But
yeah,
I
but
really hope
also
that Magneson had Magneson Gardevoir had Sidewave or something like this.
yeah, they would be very very strong, but still probably you would need a cheaper charge move because otherwise,
Yep,
I mean,
right.
synchronize is still maybe 50,
Mm-hmm.
50 energy, I guess.
Yep,
Yeah,
it
and then yeah,
has
Shadow Ball at
triple
55.
axle.
Oh yeah, Triple X at 45, which
Yep,
is decent. And yeah, and Gardevoir has a good attack stat, so yeah, just boosting your attack might be also a nice snowball effect on
but yep, I'm
the
imagining something around Fairy Wind. I think it doesn't learn Fairy Wind, but yep, something related. Fairy Wind plus Side Shock plus something that covers you like magical mystical fire or something like this, and it will be pretty cool. But yep. We
yeah.
are so far from that.
Well, now we have been used to some groundbreaking updates from time to time,
Yep,
so I'm expecting the next update to be equally surprising, as good as the past ones. So there is still some hope for you that the Gardevoir
I
is
hope
gonna
that.
have, I don't know, maybe Charge Beam is gonna be completely reworked and maybe it's going to become a fantastic move. We don't know.
Let's see.
Um, yeah, let's talk about a bit about your community and your local PvP scene. So I I think I remember you had to like do a very very long travel to get access to some like yeah, so a couple of events.
Yep.
Um, so how's the local scene in Barcelona?
Right now it's better. I mean, we have like two or three shops. It depends on the month, but yeah, basically we have some events that is more than the previous season, because the previous season I had to move into Granada and Madrid that are like between 500 and 800 kilometers from
Not
my
great.
house.
Yeah.
So yep, and I had to travel. I mean, technically after that I didn't have to because I was having the travel award no matter what. But yep, and this season at least we have some locals. But yep, I think people is a bit tight about the game, and the PvP scene is not omega common right now. So yep, normally we are not a lot of people. We are like between 4, 8, or something like this. And I really hope a world where everyone plays UL and everyone play Pokemon or Open Great League or whatever. But this is not the world. So
Yeah. So basically, what you're saying is that the only way you can get some points without having to travel this much is basically just playing the side event during the majors. So
yep,
during the regionals, and you do the challenge in the cup. But
yep,
since you very often are in day 2, you probably are missing the day 1 side
yep,
event.
yep.
Yeah,
I had a trauma last season because I wasn't able. I never. I think I was playing one cup, but I wasn't. I never played a cup because I was or qualified for day 2 or waiting into my round or something like this. So I wasn't able to play some side events. But yep, this season I had more time, but yep, I didn't want it.
and they're also pretty expensive compared to
Yep,
what you
yep.
would pay in your local context. So yeah, there's
Mm-hmm.
also something just to keep in mind. And any rising players in your local scene that you believe if they put the right effort, they might become good players?
We have here Ache that he's going to a lot of tournaments. Not right now. He went to Bologna,
Yeah, I saw
and I
him.
think he's really solid. He always played in the Gym Breakers Spanish team.
Yeah,
So yep, I think he's really solid. And sometimes he plays like SAS compos. He plays like a random compo with nonsense or something like this. But I think like he's a really good player. So maybe next season is gonna be his season. So let's see.
yeah, and he's been playing PvP for for a long time because I do
Yep.
remember him from past Silver seasons.
Yep.
So yeah, he's been around for a while. And is there a player that you think deserved to be to Worlds, to be at Worlds, and they missed out? Maybe just because they didn't play enough, or maybe just because they weren't
Mm,
lucky enough and they didn't get enough points.
I mean, there is a lot of people in Spain that didn't went to a lot of tournaments, like Nopfon, like a lot of people that
Yeah,
they are really good, but they basically they are skipping all the tournaments except for UIC and the Spanish tournament. So yeah, I think if they play like consistently, they are going to they will go to Worlds or whatever, or sometimes top eight or whatever. So yeah, there are a lot of Spanish people that and that doesn't want to to do a lot of tournaments. So yep,
yeah, it can
basically
be
that.
expensive, and there is some sort of balance that you have to maintain between being more meritocratic and reward people who actually spend some time and
Yep.
unfortunately some money as
And
well
I don't want
just
to
to
talk
go to
about
these major events. Yeah,
I don't want to talk about money, but yep, Spain isn't the country with most money in Europe. So yep, basically that.
yeah. And on the other side, of course, if you give more importance to
Yep.
local events and to cups and challenges, you're gonna have a 1,000 players showing up for Worlds, and it's going to be also, yeah, maybe too many people. So yeah, that's
I think
probably
I
yes,
think if we had a Swiss format in Play Pokemon, there will be a lot of players playing that they are not,
yeah,
because Swiss is more friendly with new people. Because basically, if you are starting to play right now, you are probably, if you are new in the game, you are gonna go to a tournament, O2, and into your house. I mean, and this is not friendly for new players because yep, they
yeah.
are not like reward. So yep, I think if we had a Swiss format, it will be better for everyone. So
Oh yeah, definitely. Maybe just reworking the point system so that for every win you get, I don't know, 10 points
yep.
for every win, so that you can just slowly grinding at your own pace. But still, even if you go 1-6, you still come back home with something.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, there will be. I mean, so far, basically everyone agrees that Swiss is the way to go.
Yep.
But yeah, I don't know. We will see. We will see.
Let's see.
And yeah, and so we already spoke about some potential move changes, but those were more God of War related. But any update that actually you are hoping to have in the future, like after Worlds, some nice modifications to the some charge move stats.
I need that Scopely at this point. They kill Annihilate. I hate Annihilate so much because I think it's Omega Dump and you are always like throwing Rage Fist without any sense. So yep, I really hope that they kill Annihilate. Also more Peko. I don't like more Peko.
A lot of
Probably
Spanish players actually do love Morpeko.
it's I
And Pablo
think
Dondinas is a Morpeko fan.
yep. I think it's a brainless Pokemon. You are always spamming Aura Wheel and yep, be lucky. Just pray for not be aligned against a ground type. So yep, I really hope that they destroy them. And apart from that, I don't know. Probably after Wolves, I will think something and different from that. And probably I will hate the Den a lot because if it's gonna be Omega broken, and you have to team build around that, and when you have to team build around a Pokemon to not be destroyed about that, I think it's broken in general.
Yeah,
And yep, the Den is the typical Pokemon that you have to team build around that because you cannot bring something like, for example, Gator, Azu, Mandibas.
yeah,
Because I mean, if you bring those three, you have to bring three strong into the Den, and basically you are organizing an RPS team. So yep.
Yeah, not the healthiest
Hmm.
Pokemon in the meta right now, but yeah, I trust that some new code breakers will emerge. And okay, so outside of Pokemon Go and outside of Pokemon, because you already told me that you are a fan of all the Pokemon games. Any other video games that you actually enjoy playing a lot?
Basically, my favorite game apart from Pokemon is Paper Mario: The Thousand Year Door. I mean, I have it here, and it's my always favorite game. So yep, I also like The Legend of Zelda. But yep, I'm not the most tryhard gamer because normally I'm always playing Nintendo because I grow with them.
Yeah.
So yep, I don't have a PlayStation or Xbox or whatever. So yeah, basically I'm enjoying Nintendo games.
Okay. Only Switch, or do you have also some retro consoles?
Yep, I have. I mean, my boyfriend and I we are Omega freaks, and yep, we have like Nintendo 64, we have the
Oh
SNES,
yes.
we have GameCube, we have Wii, we have the Wii U, we have two Switches, we have a lot of Game Boys, Game Boy Color, Game Boy Pocket, and whatever. So yep.
Yeah, that's fantastic. What game do you have for Nintendo 64?
We have the Smash, the I don't remember, and the Super Smash
Yeah, Super
Bros.
Smash Bros. Yes.
We have the Mario 64. We have
Mario
uh,
Kart,
po-
I guess.
um, Pokemon Stadium 2. So yep, and Mario Kart. So yep, we
Okay,
have
so we have the
in
same
in
games.
our
Yeah.
house we have like a retro zone
Oh
with all of those
yes,
things.
I love it.
And a fun fact is that we are doing the plush decks from Kanto and Johto, and we are missing like 30 plushes from all of those regions. So this is my main objective for Worlds is complete the plush decks. So yep,
Well, yeah, if there is a place where you can just buy all the plushies that you're missing, that's probably
yep.
in Worlds. Yeah.
And probably
Well,
next year we're gonna go to Japan.
oh
So
nice,
yep, this is the other point.
cool,
But yep,
and
I love plushes. So I mean, I think everyone knows that I love plushes. I have a lot of plushes here. I have a Pikachu. I have my Magnezone, and I have a lot of them. So yep, I love plushes in general.
okay. So about your Kanto and Johto plush decks, do you have only the final evolutions or
Nope,
just okay? So
everything,
the
everything.
real
I mean,
hardcore.
I can search which one are we missing, but we are missing like random Pokemons right now. For example, we are missing something like Parasect, we are missing Golduck, we are missing Machoke, we are missing Jinx.
But didn't they have it in the Pokemon Center in London?
Nope, nope.
Oh,
I mean,
really? Gosh, it was
every time that I'm going
a
to
it was a full wall of plushes, but
yep,
yeah.
but not in sale. And basically, when I'm going to a Pokemon Center, I'm going with
Oh,
this.
that's that's great.
So yep, I mean all the Pokemons. Those are the Pokemons that we are missing. So yep, yep.
Well, yeah, yeah. I am you guys. I wish I had. I mean, are you probably just using the retro room for that, or you are using a
Yep.
separate room for
I mean,
the
we
plushes?
have a stream room. I mean, we don't live together, but yep, we have a stream room that we want to put a wardrobe or something like this in a wall that it's like 5 meter or something like this. So yep, we want to do that, and we want that it's going to be full of plushes. So yep,
And who's keeping the plushes? Like you share
basically
equally?
yep. Basically, I mean, they are from both. I mean, I have a lot of here because I live with my mother, but yep, basically, and they are like 50-50.
Okay. Yeah, that, that's actually so nice. I hope you guys are gonna finish your
I really
well.
hope that.
Yeah, and after Counter Johto, then there is Hoenn. So I don't know
Probably,
if you want
probably,
to
probably.
start. I don't want. I don't know if you guys will want to start Hoenn, but most importantly, actually, for Kanto, do you think you wanna go after a Missigno plush if it exists?
I don't think that it exists. If it exists, probably I will. I was insta buying it if I always saw it. But yeah, if it exists, probably I'm gonna buy it.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure it exists because on the internet you can find anything.
Yep.
But at that point, you also probably should buy the fake Rhydon one, like the
Yeah.
beta Pokemon
Yep.
version.
Yep.
Yeah, which also was the first Pokemon idea in the whole in
Yep.
the whole history.
Basically,
Yeah,
every time that I'm going to an international worlds or something like this, I'm telling my boyfriend that if I win, I'm gonna buy the biggest Mario plush that it's there. So yep, I've never won. Luckily because I don't have enough space for that. But yep,
yeah, maybe yeah, maybe next year.
maybe or maybe at worlds.
Yeah, yeah. Okay, so Paula, we actually closing the interview. But yeah, thanks so much. It's been a very fun hour to spend together, and thanks for sharing your story, your insights, your ideas on the meta. Thanks for sharing your season. And so before we say goodbye, do you want to tell our audience when they can find you if you do any coaching? What are your social media links?
Basically, I have my ex account that is Paulasha97. I'm also doing streams and usually. So yep, it's the same name in Twitch. So yep, basically that's all. I mean, I also have Discord. Yep. I mean,
Okay,
normally like I'm not the most active people in the world in social media. So if you talk me, probably I'm gonna ask you about the question or whatever you are telling me like 1 month later or something like this. So I'm sorry, but yeah,
okay. And any planning to do some coaching? Do you really do coaching or
I don't have. I'm not able to. I mean, I tried, and my boyfriend is starting to play in tournaments, but I'm not able because I don't have like I'm not patient enough because yeah.
yeah?
So I'm sorry because I tried, and a lot of people ask me about that, but yeah, I'm not able to.
Yeah, I think there will be a lot of girls that actually would look
And
at
I
you
don't
as
want
a
to
good
steal
model.
people
Yeah.
money for anything. So yeah,
Mm.
basically I prefer to not doing them because I know how am I. So yep, I'm sorry.
Yeah, but I believe you should. You might be a very good also like reference figure in the PvP scene, especially for the female players.
Yep,
And I
it's
mean,
it's
yeah,
really
you've always
cool
been
for me
a reference
because
point.
a lot of times there are a lot of female players especially that they are telling me that I'm a reference and whatever, and yep, it's pretty beautiful for me. So yep, I mean, I really hope that a world where more women are playing in competitive scene. So yep, I normally try to encourage them, but it's hard. I mean, I can understand that it's hard because, for example, in this world, I started to be anyone because I was playing Sylph, and yeah, people normally knew me. But yeah, I know that if you are completely newbie in this game, it's gonna be hard. So yeah,
Okay, yeah, that makes sense. Okay, so thanks, Paul, again for everything we talked about. And yeah, see you in 2 months in California,
yep. See you.
in person. Yeah, and have a great rest of your day and
See
take care.
you in our first round. We are going to face
Oh
round
gosh,
one.
yeah, yeah. Let's hope not. Yeah.